Howdy everybody, it's the Black Hat Cowboy. Now today we're going to be talking about Candle Cove. Now you're probably wondering where Mr. Snake Eater is. Too bad. Now I'm gonna be playing this one video that will pretty much this whole web chat. Enjoy.
From the Net Nostalgia local television forums. Subject: Candle Cove local kids show. Skysail 033. Does anyone remember this kids show? It was called Candle's Cove, and I must have been 6 or 7. I never found any reference to it anywhere, so I think it was on a local station around 71 or 72. I lived in Ironton at the time. I don't remember which station, but I do remember it was on at a weird time, like 4 p.m. Mike Painter, 65. It seems really familiar to me. I grew up outside of Ashland and was 9 years old in 72. Candle Cove, was it about pirates? I remember a pirate marionette at the mouth of a cave talking to a little girl. Skysail 033. Yes, okay, I'm not crazy. I remember Pirate Percy. I was always kind of scared of him. He looked like he was built out of other parts of dolls, real low budget. His head was an old porcelain baby doll. It looked like an antique that didn't belong in the body. I still don't remember what station this was. I don't think it was WTSF, though. Jaren 2005. Sorry to resurrect this old thread, but I know exactly what you mean, Skysail. I think Candle Cove ran only for a few months in 71, not 72. I was 12 and I watched it a few times with my brother. It was channel 58, whatever station that was. My mom would let me switch to it after the news. Let me see what I remember. It took place in Candle Cove and was about a little girl who imagined herself to be friends with pirates. The pirate ship was called Laughing Stock, and Pirate Percy wasn't a very good pirate because he got scared too easily. And there's Calliope music playing constantly. Don't remember the girl's name. Janice or Jade or something. I think it was Janice. Skysail 033. Thank you, Jaren. Memories flooded back when you mentioned the Laughing Stock and Channel 58. I remember the bow of the ship was a wooden, smiling face with a lower jaw submerged. It looked like it was swallowing the sea and had that awful Ed Wynn voice and laugh. I especially remember how jarring it was when they switched from the wooden or plastic model to the foam puppet version of the head that talked. Mike Painter, 65. I remember that too. Do you remember this part, Skysail? You have to go inside. Skysail 033. Mike, I got a chill just reading that. Yes, I remember. That's what the ship always told Percy when there was a spooky place and he had to go in, like a cave or a dark room where treasure was. And the camera would push in on Laughingstock's face with each pause. You have to go inside. With his 2 eyes askew and that flopping foam jaw and the fishing line that opened and closed it. It just looked so cheap and awful. You guys remember the villain? He had a face that was just a handlebar mustache above really tall, narrow teeth. Kevin Hart. I honestly thought the villain was Pirate Percy. I was about 5 when the show was on. Jaren, 2005. That wasn't the villain, the puppet with the mustache. That was the villain's sidekick, Horace Horrible. He had a monocle, too, but it was on top of the mustache. I used to think it meant he only had one eye. But yeah, the villain was another marionette, the skin talker. I can't believe they let us watch that back then. Kevin Hart. What kind of kid show were we watching? I seriously could not look at the screen when the Skin Talker showed up. He just descended out of nowhere on his strings, just a dirty skeleton wearing that brown top hat and the cape. His glass eyes were far too big for that skull. Christ almighty. Sky's Hail, 033. Wasn't his top hat and cloak all sewn up all crazy? Wasn't that supposed to be children's skin or something? Mike Painter, 65. Yeah, I think so. Remember his mouth didn't open and close? His jaw just slid back and forth. I remember the little girl said, "Why does your mouth move like that?" And the Skin Talker didn't look at the girl, but to the camera and said, "To grind your skin." Sky's Hail, 033. I'm so relieved that other people remember this terrible show. I used to have this awful memory, a bad dream I had where the opening jingle ended, the show faded in from black and all the characters were there, but the camera was just jutting to each of their faces and they were just screaming, and the puppets and marionettes were flailing spastically, just all screaming. The girl was just moaning and crying like she had been through hours of this. I woke up many times from that nightmare. I used to wet the bed when I had it. Kevin Hart. I don't think that was a dream. I remember that was an episode. Sky's Hail, 033. No, that's not possible. There was no plot or anything. I mean, it was literally just standing in place, crying and screaming for the whole show. Kevin Hart. Maybe I'm manufacturing this memory because you said it, but I swear to God I remember seeing what you just described. They just screamed. Jaren, 2005. Oh, God, yes. Little girl, Janice, I remember seeing her shake. And the Skin Talker screaming through his gnashing teeth. His jaw careening so wildly I thought it would come off its wire hinges. I just turned it off and that was the last time I watched. I ran to tell my brother and we didn't have the courage to turn it back on. Mike Painter, 65. I visited my mom today at the nursing home. I asked her about when I was little in the early 70s, when I was 8 or 9, and if she remembered a kid's show, Candle Cove. She said she was surprised I could remember that, and I asked why. She said, because I used to think it was so strange that you said, "I'm going to go watch Candle Cove now, Mom," and then you'd turn the TV to static and just watch dead air for 30 minutes. You had such a big imagination with your little pirate show.
Creepy, right? Everything that's said in this is very creepy because it's very possible. Minus the extension of the last comment, which it can even be explained as to why it is possible. But, as you know, it is all indeed fake. I mean, the person who made this had admitted he made it. It is indeed fake, regardless of the fact that it is indeed possible. Kidding. I think I'll explain why it is possible. So, let's start with the one thing that's really, indeed, would make this story impossible, and what people think is impossible. It is the ending. Now, partner, I reckon that you do relook the ending, because it said that the one kid only watched static. Now, back in the 70s, a local TV show would be just that. Now you can get reception from far away off, but it will be all static and hard to see. Like Mike was the only one in the video, in the web chat, who didn't know didn't know anything about the show. He knew it the least. With that said and done, his mom, when he watched it, would have only seen static. Now the part about a Screamer episode and all that disturbing stuff, there's this group, I forget its name, that back in the 70s, as long as it made money, cha-ching, cha-ching, they would do it. As long as it made money, they didn't care what they did. Now for the proof that the show is fake. You'll never find any episodes on anywhere besides the infamous Screamer episode. All the others would be static because of the rumor that only certain people can see the episodes. And then the character props are nowhere to be found. Those are the indications that it's fake. Now I think it's fake. You can think whatever you want. It is indeed fake, though. Till next time, I reckon you study up, partner.